antique libraries can one find a particular kind of quiet that hums with whispers from bygone eras. Between the shelves, you can just feel the breath of the past as they watch and wait. This is where the story starts. Inside an abandoned library that was set to close permanently in a small New England town. The Blackwood Athenaeum was the name given to it. It had been closed in the 1940s after its caretaker was killed in an unexplained fire. Nobody ever discovered what caused it. Some claimed that the wiring was flawed. Others insisted it was the books. However, until someone made the decision to reopen it, that area of town remained boarded up and quiet for decades. She was a local historian named Clara Briggs, and she had an interest in rare manuscripts. She was meticulous, fearless, and enthusiastic. She believed it would be the high point of her career when she was granted permission to categorize the remains of the old library for the local museum. She was unaware, however, that some stories are not interested in being discovered. Not all books want to be read. Dust, rot, and the stench of mold and burning wood were all that was present for the first few days. Then one afternoon, she discovered something odd in the basement. Behind a fake wall, an old chest, wax-sealed and iron-bound. A book that did not appear to be from any century she was familiar with was wrapped in black fabric within. It was bound in dark leather that felt nearly like skin, rough and uneven to the touch. Only a symbol, a spiral inside an eye, was inscribed deep into the cover. There were no words or titles. She swore the ink shimmered when she opened the thick pages, as if it had been wet for all those years. Clara began translating the sections. They were written in a dialect that no record appeared to fit, a combination of Latin and an ancient language. She became increasingly obsessed and worked late every night. She started taking random notes. Her writing style evolved. When the library fell silent, she told her assistant that she could hear whispering emanating from the pages. She was not sleeping at the end of the second week. She claimed to have seen the caretaker from the old fire standing in the library window's reflection, the identical man who was said to have passed away 80 years prior. Her assistant discovered her seated at her desk that evening with the book open and the candles stubbed. Under her breath, she was muttering something in a voice that was not her own. The project was shut down by the museum. Clara had a breakdown, according to the police, and her hallucinations were caused by stress and loneliness. However, before departing, the librarian who had come to lock the place up swore he heard something inside. There was a slight sound of pages turning by themselves. A few weeks later, Clara received a box at the museum. The same black book was inside. Nobody acknowledged mailing it. The curator put it in the glass-sealed archives. However, the temperature in that chamber falls below freezing each night after that. The security cameras occasionally flicker, displaying brief movements, such as hands pressing against the glass cases inside. They claim that if you pay close attention, you can still hear that slight rustle, which sounds like paper moving in the dark. The damned book, ready to be opened once again. Perhaps that is what knowledge and curiosity are all about. We believe it to be light and a means of discovering the truth. However, it can be crucial at times. Additionally, keys can unlock doors that were never intended to be opened. Therefore, do not open a book that you come upon in an old library that has no title, author, or record. Avoid following the letters. Keep the words out of your mouth. Simply leave. Since not all stories are meant to be read, for us, some books were never written and some ought to have remained closed indefinitely.